Confidence begins in the quiet, often unnoticed moments of everyday communication, especially in the words you choose when you speak to yourself and others. The truth is, most people underestimate just how powerful language really is, not only as a tool for expression, but as a force that actively shapes thoughts, emotions, and behavior. When you start paying attention to your speech patterns, you begin to notice subtle habits: hesitation, self-doubt, over-apologizing, or minimizing your own ideas that quietly weaken your presence. On the other hand, confident individuals tend to use clear, direct, and intentional language that reflects certainty and self-respect. This does not mean they're always right or never feel doubt. Rather, they have trained themselves to communicate in a way that reinforces belief instead of fear. Inspired by the principles taught by Dr. Joseph Murphy, we can understand that the subconscious mind responds strongly to repeated language patterns, meaning that what you consistently say, especially internally, eventually becomes what you believe. For example, replacing phrases like, "I'm not sure if I can" with "I'll figure out" creates a subtle but powerful shift in mindset. Over time, these small adjustments build a stronger sense of capability and resilience. Tone also plays a critical role. Speaking too softly, rushing through sentences, or ending statements as if they are questions can signal uncertainty even when your words are correct. By slowing down, finishing your thoughts with clarity, and allowing your voice to carry natural authority, you begin to project confidence without forcing it. Another key element is removing unnecessary filler words such as just, maybe, or I think, which often dilute the impact of your message. When you say, "I believe this is the best option," instead of "I just think maybe this could work," you instantly sound more decisive and trustworthy. These shifts are not about becoming someone else. They're about aligning your communication with the confident version of yourself that already exists beneath doubt and habit. As you practice these changes consistently, you will notice that not only do others respond differently to you, but your internal dialogue also becomes more supportive and empowering. Confidence, then, becomes less of a performance and more of a natural extension of how you think and speak every day, gradually transforming the way you see yourself and how the world responds to you. Building on this foundation, the next step is to consciously reshape your internal dialogue so that it consistently supports the confident identity you're creating. Most people carry an ongoing stream of thoughts that quietly influence their actions, often without questioning whether those thoughts are helpful or limiting. When that inner voice is filled with doubt, hesitation, or criticism, it naturally affects how you speak and behave in the external world. However, when you begin to guide that inner conversation with intention, everything starts to change. This idea closely aligns with the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, who emphasized that the subconscious mind accepts repeated suggestions as truth, regardless of whether they are positive or negative. By choosing your words carefully, especially in moments of uncertainty, you can gradually reprogram your thinking patterns to support confidence instead of fear. For instance, instead of saying, "I always mess things up," you can shift to, "I am learning and improving every day," which keeps your focus on growth rather than failure. This may feel unnatural at first, but consistency is what makes the difference. The brain adapts to repetition, and over time, these new statements begin to feel more genuine and believable. Another important aspect is how you respond to challenges or setbacks. Confident communicators do not ignore difficulties, but they frame them differently, using language that emphasizes solutions rather than problems. Saying, "This is a challenge I can handle," creates a completely different emotional response than saying, "This is too much for me." The words themselves guide your energy and influence how you approach the situation. Additionally, confident speech involves taking ownership of your thoughts and decisions. Phrases like, "I choose," "I will," and "I am capable" reinforce a sense of control and responsibility, which naturally strengthens your presence. Even in conversations with others, expressing your ideas with clarity and without unnecessary hesitation signals that you value your own perspective. It is also important to listen to how often you downplay your achievements or deflect compliments. as this can weaken your self-image over time. Accepting positive feedback with a simple "thank you, I appreciate that" helps reinforce a more confident identity. As you continue practicing these communication shifts, both internally and externally, you will begin to notice a steady transformation in how you think, feel, and interact with the world. Confidence becomes less about forcing yourself to appear strong and more about genuinely believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, supported by the consistent and intentional use of empowering language. As you continue strengthening both your internal dialogue and your external communication, the next level of growth comes from aligning your words with consistent action, because true confidence is reinforced when what you say and what you do begin to match. Many people speak in ways that sound hopeful or positive, but if their actions do not follow through, the subconscious mind starts to reject those words as empty. This is why it is essential to back your language with small, deliberate steps that prove to yourself that you are capable. The teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy highlight that belief is not just formed through repetition of words, but also through lived experience, which means every time you act in alignment with confident language, you strengthen that belief at a deeper level. For example, if you begin saying, "I handle challenges with confidence," then taking even a small action towards solving a problem reinforces that statement in a real and lasting way. Over time, these repeated cycles of speaking and acting create a powerful feedback loop that builds genuine self-trust. Another important aspect of confident communication is emotional control, especially in situations where pressure or uncertainty is high. It is easy to fall back into old patterns of doubt or hesitation when things feel uncomfortable, but this is exactly when your choice of words matters most. By pausing briefly before responding and choosing language that reflects calmness and clarity, you maintain control over how you present yourself. This does not mean suppressing emotions, but rather expressing them in a way that remains grounded and intentional. For instance, instead of reacting with "I can't deal with this," shifting to "I need a moment to think this through" preserves both your composure and your credibility. In addition, confident individuals understand the importance of consistency in tone and body language, as these nonverbal elements must support the message being spoken. Standing or sitting with an open posture, maintaining steady eye contact, and speaking at a measured pace all contribute to a sense of assurance that others can recognize immediately. These behaviors, combined with clear and purposeful language, create a presence that feels authentic rather than forced. As this process continues, you begin to notice that confidence is no longer something you have to consciously perform. Instead, it becomes a natural part of your identity. Your words flow more easily, your decisions feel more certain, and your interactions carry a sense of calm authority. Ultimately, by aligning your speech, thoughts, and actions, you create a powerful internal foundation that allows confidence to grow steadily and sustainably, influencing every area of your life in a meaningful and lasting way.